All right. Seems like we're rolling. First and foremost, I want to say Kawaiimba Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Harakakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS, Great Millstone who do rule and teach well. As you see, I'm having to do the lesson from inside my home today. I went out there just to kind of see what it is. I didn't check out the weather. And right as I was making my way to a nearby park, the rain was getting so bad it was fucking drenching my shoes. And I decided just to make the call. Man, I cannot camp like this. So I'm gonna be doing the camp from inside to indoor camp. So you brothers who happen to see this and you're from the NYC area, you should honestly just do an indoor camp as well. You can hear it out there. It's raining bad. So if you camping out there and you got you don't have a camp spot to have a over covering, like something over your head, then you're gonna have to camp inside. So yeah, today I have a few precepts, a few topics that I want to get into for today. Some things I was gonna hit at camp. Let me get my notes here. Return. Get my Wi-Fi set up. All right, bet. And yeah, so first precept I'm gonna get is this is the book of Second Peter. It's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3. Yeah, 2 Peter 3, verse 1. The second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, and both which I still be put in minds by way of remembrance, because reincarnation is a real thing. Was every 3 or 4 generations you reincarnate into a new body. So, you could be your great grandfather or your great great grandfather coming back in reincarnation. We know that the scripture says his ministers are like a pure fire. Their spirits are just pure energy, so even science tells you that energy can't be, destroyed really. It can just be transferred. So your spirit's pure energy, and your spirit just transfers to a new body, so one life you can be Jake, and another life, well, looking like a Jake, you could look like a so-called Negro, Hispanic, Native American, but maybe a few generations ago you could have looked like Edomite, because about the black rulership in Europe. So you look like one thing this time, you look another thing another time. It's all through the bloodline, right? Or you have some Edomites that could look like straight up, Hamites back in the day, or have brown skin, right? Because Esau, he was mingling with like the daughters of Ishmael and these different nations. I believe one of the Edomites was even with Pharaoh's daughter, I believe, or son like that. They raised him in the courts, or something like that. I can't remember which Edomite it was, but you can go look it up for yourself. I think it was at maybe Hadad, I think it was. But you got a reason. Did he mess with some Egyptian woman? I don't think it says in the scriptures, but who knows? But yeah, as I was saying, it's not about skin color. It's about your bloodline, and we know the whole thing about the tares, right? Can't talk about that without talking about the tares, right? Because you got some people that look black, darker than me, but their bloodline actually goes back to Edomites, all right? And then myself, it's a little confusing. I could have a great grandfather. You say, oh, he's an Edomite. He looks like an Edomite. Oh, you're an Edomite too. But it's like, no, man. I'm an Israelite. Because I really believe these scriptures, and I really believe this truth, and I really, push on. I really do participate. I really do try my best here. The Lord knows my intentions. Verse 2, 2 Peter 3, verse 2, that you may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandments, and of us, the whole apostles of the Lord and Savior. All right. Yeah, which really, we're all apostles. Apostle just means to be sent out. So we really are all apostles in a way. We all come out here week in, week out. We're all sent out wherever we are to go out and teach, Verse 3, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers walking after their own lust. All right, in the last days there shall come scoffers walking after their own lust, man. This is what we're seeing out here. This is a sign of the end times, man. These different Israelite camps, these guys push out all kinds of wicked doctrines. IUIC, they push that the full moon is the Sabbath. The whole order of like holidays and holy days is off. I know for a fact they don't follow the same stuff we do. They be having women all around. They be trying to push brothers to marry women. They be having women all up in their congregation, and it's just it ain't right, bro. Like when I see IUIC teaching, it's looking like a church, bro. They got that same energy, bro. These guys, they're not pushing out the 100% true doctrine. I can't remember what they say, but they don't believe that the mark of the beast, as we all know. I think they think it's sin. But some of their guys, some of their former dudes, they actually do believe the mark of the beast is the RFID microchip, which that's good, because you got some sincere brothers in those other camps, So just because someone is in the IOIC doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to be, saved in the chariots. I never said that. Like it says in the scriptures, verily, that whores should get into the kingdom before you. And I believe Yahushua said that. He's talking to the Pharisees. Whores and publicans are going to get into the kingdom before you. Because they were being all righteous and stuff. Which nowadays, things are a little different. Some of these guys out here being under righteous. They call us the scribes and Pharisees because of our strict adherence to Mosaic law, to the best of our ability. That's something that GMS pushes out. Like we're really strict about the Sabbath. We're really strict about these things, no sex, none of that stuff. Right, verse 4, and also know doing your own thing, and that's in the scriptures too. When you fast and when you do Sabbath, new moons, you can't do your own thing on these days. These are high holy days. These are holy days as well, man. I don't say high holy day. That's like Passover and stuff like that. But this is a holy day. You keep it like that. And saying, where is it the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. For this they willingly are ignorant, willingly ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, the earth standing in the water and out of the water. Right, which that's talking about the atmosphere, like the waters of the sky, different from the waters that below with us. Or by the world that then was, being overflow with water, perish, but the heavens and the earth which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the great day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. All right, and that's right, man. Yahushua is the word, and all these things. The whole thing with the flood, man, you could say that was a foreshadowing when Yahushua coming down too with the fire, because the Lord said, I'm not going to burn. I'm not gonna flood there for water again. But guess what? This time he's gonna use fire. So he's still upholding to his covenant. It's good to the Lord is not a man that he should lie. Let's see if I can find that. See if I can find that for y'all. All right. But yeah, as I said, man, out there crazy, man. So one, you brothers that are out there, you got some place where you could go. I don't know any places down here in NY that is has that overshade covering. I haven't seen anything like that. But you know, I'm one guy, and then I can look on Google Maps, but Google Maps is gonna tell you so much. You know, I don't have the experience of you know, a lot of you brothers that have been camping for, you know, camping in NYC for, you know, 10, 20 years. And brothers are right, man. Camping in NYC is a different beast, man. It's different. Camping in the inner city, it's different. Numbers 23 and 19. That's the spirit. I completely stumbled on it. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Have he said, and shall he not do it? Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good? All right, we know that prophets, right? Surely the Lord will do nothing. Let me see if I can find it. Servants to prophets. I don't need to look that one up. I think it's in Amos after Isaiah. Nope, no, Jeremiah is after Isaiah. Amos is somewhere around here. I might have to get a second Bible. I have a bunch of stuff to find. Oh, no, I think Amos is after, no, it's not there. Where is it? Well, Amos is here. It's the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord will do nothing, but he reveals to Amos 3 and 7. Surely the Lord God, Yahweh, will do nothing, but he reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Yeah, so the Lord speaks to the prophets, you know. And the word prophets means, you know, speak, and I believe, no, pro means before, and I think facade means to speak. So you're speaking before, you know, and in the old times they call them seers. Like in the time of Samuel, they used to call them seers, which is, it just means the same thing as seer is a prophet. It's just a, you know, name that they used of old for a prophet, you know. The scripture says, you know, testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So by us carrying that testimony, you know, speaking about Yahushua and highways and byways, we're upholding it and carrying that spirit of prophecy, you know, pushing out that prophecy out there in the street corners, you know, prophesying of Yahushua's return, coming destruction of America, so on and so forth, man. Verse 7. Yeah, but verse 7, but by the heavens and the earth which are now, by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment, perdition of ungodly men. All right, and that's what's gonna happen, man. You know, everlasting day of judgment, right? A fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. And perdition means destruction. All right, so by the same word, man, you know, it's, you know, through Yahushua, the judgment is being held back, you know. Until that time comes, and Yahushua, the angels, the Most High, and come down and wreak havoc on this place and destroy these ungodly, wicked-ass men. All right, these wicked-ass people, you know, and their philosophies. You know, even though you do have some sincere people in there, you know, even one of my family members is, even though I tried to put them on to, you know, GMS, they you know, they didn't listen, but, you know, close kind of family member who was kind of like, hey man, this whole Israelite thing, you know, I tried to put him on the GMS, and you know, she wasn't really feeling it, so I was like, oh well, you know. And now I don't mention it. I'm never mentioning it again. All right. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1. This know also that at last days perilous times shall come. Yeah, you know, like the IUIC member, you know, they got shot. You know, that's just a sign of the times, man. These are some dangerous times. I don't really recall everything all went down. I think he was the IUIC guy was trying to get into a fight with this dude or something, or something like that, or some shit. And he ended up you know, getting shot, man. You know, so that's how you know these are perilous times. Even though, you know, the situation, I'm you know, don't hold me on that, but you know, if it went that way, he was in the wrong to, you know, stoke the wrath of a man, you know, because you know, hey, we don't have those spiritual bodies yet, man. So you can still get yourself shot if you don't play your cards right and you're not coming out there in the right spirit, you know. remember, we're calling out there to make our own calling and election sure. You know, I don't come out here, whether it's indoor camp or camping on the street corner. I don't go out there to scream at people or yell at people or do any sort of thing like that. You know, and sometimes you get rough because you have to. You know, sometimes people try you, or they just come around to play around, and it has to be some boundaries that has to be set. Like, you can't just have people, playing around all day. At certain points, like, I'm just gonna fucking ignore you. You know, say, hey, man, just keep go, walk away. And you just keep on teaching. I've had situations like that before. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Yeah, people, all these sort of things, man. Covetous, coveting other people's possessions, boasters, proud. I mean, just go on the internet, go on TikTok. You got people boasting about everything, man. Boasting about their money, boasting about their cars, boasting about everything, man. They put in their thing in they're hoping, was it uncertain riches, so don't put all your things into money, man. Let me see here. Can I scroll down? Yeah, so this is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and 17, right? Charge them that are rich in this world to be not high-minded, no trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. All right? And that's what Apostle Paul is telling Timothy, man. Charge them that among you, man, that are rich, not to be too focused on that money, man. Hold on. I'm going to pause this for a second. Yeah, give me a quick second. And I'll find this. James. So see if we can. I'm curious what the Halley's Bible Handbook has to say. Yeah, anything special to say about this chapter? Yes, this is Timothy, 2 Timothy, 1 Timothy. So yeah, 1 Timothy and 2 Timothy and Titus are commonly called the pastoral epistles, and this is Halley's Bible Handbook, revised edition, new revised edition. By Zondervan. So Zondervan is a publishing company and whatever. By H. Halley. And this is just page 631. Same info you can honestly find on any commentary website, but I prefer to just get it out of a book because it's just faster, So 1 Timothy, 1st, 2nd Timothy, and Titus are commonly called the pastoral epistles. Prevailing opinion is that they were written between Paul's first and second imprisonment between AD 64 and 67. Some rationalist modern critics have advanced the theory that they were the work of some unknown author. I believe it's Apostle Paul. It's pretty clear it's Apostle Paul. I have faith it's Apostle Paul. 30 to 50 years after Paul's death, wrote in Paul's name to promote certain doctrines. For his opinion, there is no historical basis. These epistles have, from the very beginning, have been regarded as the genuine writings of Paul. If they are not the genuine writings of Paul, but the false writings of some pretender Paul, how can any man with any sense of honesty regard them as part of God's word? To the average mind, such a thing as forgery. All right. See here, what did I just read? I read 1 Timothy 1 and now it's like 1 Timothy 6. I thought I read something else. Huh. That's weird. Oh, 6 and 17. Gone. Let's see what it says. Slaves, riches, become free if you can, but if not, be a good slave. Slaves are thus frequently exhorted. Christianity, I gotta look into that. They say Christianity abolished slavery, but I guess they're speaking in a different kind of way because they're under the misconception that salvation is for everyone. It was more about being a Hebrew servant. It's not being an actual slave. Like, you have men that were, we use the term slaves to each other. We had each other as servants. I don't even want to use the term slave as a negative connotation, but it's a Hebrew manservant, or maid servant. I mean, is it not the same thing today? I mean, chances are you probably don't work for a black business, but we're all servants. We're all employees working for another person's company. You may work at a construction company. Hell, the person that run it may be black or something, but the people that he goes and talks to, and the people that run this whole stuff and control the stocks of that place or whatever, and are buying into it, and his investors are probably some fucking Amalekites. I see that at the gym all the time. 11. But yeah, there ain't nothing really here. Nothing here that is different. Desire for riches. Yeah, desire for riches was the motive back of much false teaching. Through the ages, church doctrines have been corrupted to produce income for church coffers. A root of all kinds of evil is more accurate than AV, the root of all evil. Has been corrupted to produce root of all kinds of evils. Yeah, so that's what he was talking about. That's what I wanted to get into. Yeah, I wanted to see if there was anything extra. But yeah, riches is a source of all kinds of evil. People despoiling each other, taking away their livelihoods, the pride that comes with the money and all that, and so on and so forth. We can get into some other stuff. Getting some other stuff here. Getting some other works. This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 10. Chiefly them that walk after the lust, after the flesh, and the lust of uncleanness, and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed, they are not afraid to speak evil of dignities or dignitaries. Yeah, these people out here, and these guys get exposed. Some of these guys, it's because they crept in unawares and stuff like that. These guys get exposed. It's people who don't want to listen and follow the order, and they get kicked out. And I'm speaking for like GMS, you brothers, the Lord's working with your brothers out there. So, you guys find these guys out and you expose them, and you kick them out. The Lord will come as expectantly. No. 2 and 10, not 3 and 10. That's another good one, but yeah, he's especially, so NLT, he's especially hard on those who follow their own twisted sexual desire and despise authority. These men are proud and arrogant, daring even to scoff at supernatural beings without so much as trembling. Oh, I didn't know that's what that means. Speak evil of dignities. Let's see what that is. Supernatural beings, angels. That's what that really would mean. Could it really be talking about angels here? Dignities, doxa, G 1391, opinion, view, estimate, splendor, brightness, a thing belonging to the Most High, of the angels. Yeah, because you did have people like that too. By either or, you could say dignity or you could say worship. Other times it means worship. Either or. They despise all that. Holiness, worship. See here. See if we get some more. Throw something else I saw here. Yeah, judgment. You know, with the long hair thing, like the haircuts and stuff like that. You know, yeah, you can't despise judgment when you're in the truth. You know, whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not really accusation against them before the Lord. All right. That's right. But the angels who are far stronger, NLT version, but the angels who are far stronger and greater in power and strength do not dare to bring from the Lord a charge of blasphemy against those supernatural beings. What? No. That ain't right, man. It's before the Lord. Alright. But these are natural beasts made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of things they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. That's right. But yeah, those guys back then speaking ill of angels, you know, doing all kinds of stuff. But let's see here. Hold on. So yeah. As I was saying, yeah. So that's pretty much that. But you know, they're likened unto, you know, animals and stuff. The wicked, you know, 2/3 they're likened unto animals. And also Edomites are likened to animals. You know, King David, speaking in the spirit about Yahushua, said, "Dogs have compassed me." Dogs did not compass King David. There's no written account of that, but he was speaking in the spirit of speaking about Yahushua being compassed by the Romans, you know, trying to give him poison, you know, who, you know, put the crown of thorns on him and tortured him, basically tortured him to death, you know, really horrific stuff, a lot of horrific stuff that happened to, you know, all the apostles back then. Some of the apostles were killed with spears, some of them were just, like just murdered, some like crucified and stuff, and yeah, man, real serious stuff we're involved in, you know. Yeah, this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 25. And there should be signs in the sun, and the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Right? If you've seen that, there's been blood moons and all kinds of different lunar events and stuff taking place just in like the last few years. You know, it's going to keep happening. And the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, right? NLT version, and here on earth the nations will be in turmoil, right? Like it says in 2 Esdras 15 to be up. Well, is it 15 or is it the 6th chapter? I think it's the 6th chapter, 2 Esdras. It talks about how there should be uproars in the world, man, and we're seeing that in the news. The sea and the waves roaring, right? Roaring seas and strange tides, you know, natural disasters and all kinds of things, you know, coming down. You're not just earthquakes. So, first thing I want to, dude, come on. So first thing I want to talk about here is this from CNN. You know, South Korea, CNN World, more than 26 and thousands evacuated in South Korea due to torrential rain and landslides. Right, so natural disasters, man. 26 people have died and thousands have been evacuated from their homes. Thousands have evacuated their homes in South Korea due to torrential rain that has caused landslides and flash floods. 10 others remain missing, according to the country's Ministry of the Interior and Safety, while 9 have been injured in the downpour, right? So caused by rain, but you know, the seas and stuff had a part to play in it, man. So these are floods. And other places, there's an earthquake in Turkey. And that 24 talks about earthquakes, which is an increase in natural disasters and hazards, environmental hazards as a whole, is a sign of the end times, man. The mission says 16 deaths were recorded in the countries in North Gyeongsang province, which is along the eastern portion of the Korean peninsula. Most were killed by landslides. Public roads, houses, and farm fields have also been damaged by severe flooding. It added. Alright, so this is see here, all around just another scourge, made for amendment. But the Korean people, whatever the fuck they believe in, they're not gonna listen, man. Those guys are white supremacists too out there in Korea, north and south. All those guys are. Yeah, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 19. Both famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourge for amendment. Alright. For all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Such as an under scourge, man. All kinds of scourges have happened, man. Any times you see like an earthquake or this thing or that thing happen, the scourges, man. 911, even though those are planning, that's a scourge to get the people to change. All these disasters that happen to people, infrastructure falling. I remember hearing about that here in NYC. There was a parking lot that completely collapsed. Close family member actually parks there, and they almost died. Lord, didn't have them die there. And this person isn't in the truth like that. Same person I'm talking about tried to tell to watch GMS, but they weren't really interested. So I don't really know. Maybe a little have mercy on her. And so on and so forth. But like Scripture says, my blood will I require, if I don't go out there and teach. Not that you have to go teach your family members, right? Because don't cast your pearls before swine. But I mean, if she came up to me, and if a family member came up to me on the real and was like really passionate, I wouldn't turn them down. I don't have it in me to turn them down. I don't think it's right to turn them down. If they're like really coming up to you and like really asking about it, then you should probably tell them. You don't have to tell them everything, but you should say, hey, go check out GMS and go see from there, kind of try the spirit out. Don't like get into like everything with them, and don't like tell them, oh yeah, hey, I teach, come on down. And then what are you gonna do if they turn out to be a scoffer? Then now you're stuck with a scoffer. So yeah. So yeah, this is just the rest isn't really important. People had to evacuate their homes. Destruction, mayhem ensues. This is probably gonna be the last thing I talk about here. Yeah. So this is from Friday, July 14th. Let me see if I can find anything about this. See what's going on next in this. I'm sure there's been protests in Kenya, which once again goes back to the turmoil in the world, uproars of the people. There's a lot of police violence. The people and the police are going back and forth down there. And yeah. Well, looks like I'm not finding anything about it. But yeah, it's just the same thing. I just want to make sure if the news has been updated, because when you look at these news articles, don't just say, oh, I found an article yesterday, let me you talk about it, because then you can be late. So you want to be up to date if you can. So look at it again, look at the same website, see if there's any live updates, because a lot of these things, like if you're talking about this whole Russia-Ukraine war, you know, you got to be up to date with that, man. If you want to be accurate. UN very concerned over widespread violence by police during protests in Kenya. The United Nations said it was very concerned about the widespread use of violence by police against protesters in Kenya after clashes against tax hikes reportedly turned deadly. Protests broke out across the country on Wednesday, including the capital Nairobi, where OPO Wandai leads opposition in Kenya's parliament told CNN that demonstrators were forcibly dispersed by the police. And you know, Kenya, the same as Canaan, you know, a lot of these guys are Canaanites, man. Not all of them, some of them are Jakes, but these guys are Hamites, man. And Ham is getting down out there, man. Look at this nigga. This nigga going, you know, he doing his thing out there, man. You know, fighting the police. You know, mayhem ensues. Of course, the whole thing is, you know, as they always do, the police are probably the ones behind it all, and the elites of Kenya and Edomites are, you know, all the other ones controlling these guys. The Kenyan, you know, political leaders, they're all bought and sold. You know, Edom owns the world, bro. You know, like it was prophesied. You know, was Genesis 26 or something, or wherever it was. You know, that Esau would be given the fatness of the earth, man. And yeah, and he got it. You know, he got it for now. You know, it's like the scriptures talk about. You know, there's a gain, but it's turned to nothing, and that's what's talked about. That's what's happening here in America. That gain is turning into a L, into a loss. So let's just go get that, because I don't want to use my actual computer to like pull out scriptures, because I think having that on and my camera on might be a little too much. So just gonna have my tablet, and I was gonna use a tablet today anyway, so I might as well use it now. Let's see if I can find what I want. So America, come on, dude, give me America. Sirach 20:9. There's a sinner that have good success in evil things, and there's a gain that turn to loss. All right, and Esau has been a sinner, right? Even though, you know, sin is really meant for us, because sin is conjunction of law, and the only people that can really sin is us, because the law was made for us. It's made for Israelites, and the law we pushed on everyone else in the kingdom. We're gonna force them all to go do it. I think it's one in Zechariah that talks about that, how if the nations come not up the Passover, how they're gonna be stricken with plagues and diseases and fucked up. And so we're gonna enforce the holy law, which is the way all people should live. So eating kosher is the way that all people should eat. Just point blank, period. It's all low calorie foods. Solid foods, good foods, nutritious foods. You're not eating the fucking bottom sea dwellers that fucking eat the fucking mire and shit. You're eating fucking sea roaches, you know, like these people do. Eating fucking shrimp and lobsters and shit. You know, like I watched this one guy on YouTube. He's kind of like a lobster, kind of one of those fishers. He's a fisherman, and he goes around like collects fish, I guess, and I guess he sells them or some shit. And he goes around and he catches these guys, and you know, and he says he's just fucking sea roaches, and he throws them. It's kind of funny. You can look him up for yourself. But this guy kind of like catches like the fish out the water, and the way they do it is like a fish has a notch on it. That means it can breed. You know, so the fish has a notch in the tail. It means a woman, and it can breed. So he throws it back out there so the fish can breed, and it can be more fish. And apparently, I didn't know that some of these fishes out here can lay like thousands of eggs. I thought that was just for fucking frogs, but I guess it's for like a lot of other fish too, that they can make a lot of babies. So these fishermen they got their own code. But yeah, really, really crazy stuff. What am I thinking of? Well, oh yeah, Kenya protest, but yeah, um, we don't really need to get to the rest like that. I mean, people are just, UN is just concerned about it, but yeah, it's still, you know, uh, uproars in the world, man. Uh, let's see here. Let's see. Mm, you know what? Mm, we'll go into this one, and then I may come back and make another video about it. Just forget it, and then I'll just talk about something else. But yeah, I'll get into this real quick. CNBC.com grad 2 spat NATO and Ukraine's clash over aid, reveals a strained power dynamic at a gathering in Vilnius, Lithuania, with all 31 members of NATO. There's clear friction between Kiev and the alliance. Even as some members were very keen to follow Ukraine's request, the United States in particular isn't supportive of immediate NATO membership for Kiev. During a NATO public forum Wednesday, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the American people deserve a degree of gratitude. UK Defense Minister Ben Wallace also said Wednesday, "I am not Amazon." All right. So yeah, these guys are getting upset with Ukraine, upset with Zelensky, because Zelensky just wants his cake. He wants to eat it too. Yeah, you should just count his blessings that America and NATO were even backing him to begin with. Of course they're gonna do that. We should be happy that they gave him weapons and all kinds of stuff, trained his men. NATO forces, I think, trained like pilots or something. I remember reading about. At a gathering in Vilnius, Lithuania, all 31 members of NATO, there were clear afflictions between Kiev and the military alliance. We had 7 heads and 10 horns, right? This culminated with the Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky saying Tuesday that the absence of a timeline for his country to join NATO was absurd. One senior diplomat present at the meeting told CNBC on Thursday that Zelensky overplayed his hand during the summit and was therefore pressured by the United States and others to show more gratitude. And notice how they put the United States first, because the article's going to tell you that the United States is the biggest contributor to it. And they admit themselves that NATO was basically created for the United States to protect all other nations, man. Like it talks about Ezekiel 38. Russia's in that role in a way, except not with China, but NATO, Russia, like Libya, and other nations that it's with it that are with Russia, like Ethiopia, nations like that. Russia's a guard unto them, man. Russia's protecting them. We can go get this. We'll read a little bit of this article, and I'm gonna make a video about this for myself, for all y'all. This is book of Revelation 17, verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels with the 7 vials, which is judgments, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right? And that's great whore is America, because verse 15 says, He saith unto me, right, because angels breaking it down to him, He saith unto me, The waters thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples, multitudes, and nations, and tongues. Right, so that's what the water represents: peoples, nations, and tongues. Waters are the peoples. Well, that pretty much just proves it. But they're likened unto pits, likened unto trees. So a lot of times, the Lord will use nature to refer to people. You know, verse 2, with whom, right, Revelation 17:2, back up to 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of their fornication, or the philosophies, like they're drunk but now a strong drink, you know, they're drunk with those philosophies, you know, or the influence of evil is what I like to always say. Then yeah, they actually come with a precept, which is why I like these kind of Bibles. They give you precepts too. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, and made all the earth drunken. Nations are drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. You know, crazy. But I've also heard brothers break it down as you know, angry as well. You know, which they are. Because another scripture, Revelation says the nations are angry. You know. Yeah. You can keep reading on. There's a very clear message from the U.S. side. Ukraine went too far. See a diplomat who attended the meetings in Lithuania but preferred to remain anonymous due to sensitivity. The topic told CNBC on Thursday. The comments give an insight into the power dynamics within NATO. Even some members were keen to follow Ukraine's request. The U.S. in particular isn't supportive of immediate membership for Kiev at this time. And so, you know, it's the United States, man. The United States runs the 7 heads and 10 horns, man. You know, even though America isn't necessarily in the EU, America is the biggest trading partner of the EU, so they control that too. And America is the strongest country out right now, even though it's falling apart, you know. Which all these other nations aren't fucking doing much better. As if Russia is a fucking sprawling place and China is fucking sprawling too, man. Like, no, they all have their own problems. This isn't the kingdom, all right. This is not Yahushua's kingdom. This is fucking weak. This is weak. This is weak. Shit is weak. All right. The comments. The summit outcome reflects the basic reality of NATO as a U.S. security commitment to the strongest military power in the world to defend other eligible countries. What have we been talking about? Come on. How are you gonna tell me that the fucking Vatican is the great whore? That the Vatican is the is the whore, man, sit upon the beast? How are you gonna tell me that? How are you gonna tell me is anything? How are you gonna tell me is anything? Alright, it's not Babylon. How are you gonna tell me that the Vatican, whatever the fuck, is Babylon the Great and it's not America? How are you finna tell me that? You can't tell me that shit. This proves it, you know. And I'm laughing, I'm smiling, but this. They tell you it's right here. This stuff we've been talking about for a minute. But you know, you guys out there, you're not gonna believe it unless you fucking happen to see it in the news when they decide to reveal it to you. You guys aren't gonna believe it. And when we've been out there on the street corner saying this for years, man, you know. My elders and the brothers have been in this truth before me. They've been talking about this for years, man. I've only been in this thing for about a bit over a year. You know, and I've been talking about this, man. All right. Security outcome reflects the basic reality that NATO's U.S. security commitment as security commitment to as the strongest military power in the world to defend other eligible countries. Hence, NATO will always only move at the speed of Washington, which right now is only fixated on China. In the long run, Jacob Kierkegaard, a senior fellow at the German Marshall Fund in the United States, told CNBC via email. The U.S. therefore will not let a warring country to NATO and give too firm a timeline commitment. He added, Ukraine has been fighting Russia's full-scale invasion since February 2022. You know? So yeah, you know, I'm not gonna really get into this article, but yeah, that's why he's not gonna pull it out, man, because he's like, hey, these guys stay in here and come in here and join up, because like, hey, if you do that, we're gonna get into World War III, and this is a symbol, you know, or it's the Lord doing this, right? It's not the heart of kings is in the hand of the Lord, man. Roughly paraphrasing. This is the Lord doing this, man. You know, he's not gonna let World War III happen until Jacob's trouble happens, until that MOTV is pushed out on Earth. Right. So this is Revelation chapter 17, verses 3. So he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a skull-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And I believe the names of blasphemy is just talking about the vibration. Because you look at the word name, it just means vibration. You know? It's talking about that. Because then they bring you to Revelation 13 and 1. See here. See here, Revelation 13 and 1. A blasphemous name, or blasphemous vibration. And these guys all have a blasphemous vibration about them. You know, they don't believe that Yahushua is a dark-skinned man. You know, they believe in pure blasphemy, man. These guys are all wicked. These guys are all about war, conflict. You know, NATO has been known for false flag operations, fucking killing civilians, staging terrorist attacks. What was it, Operation Gladio? You know, these guys do this shit to each other, man. You know, these are not people to be trusted and people to be worshiping. And that real blasphemy that they're going to get into is when they push out that MOTB, all right? All the NATO members are going to do it. All the EU members are going to do it. The UN members are going to do it. They're doing this shit, you know? And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness and fornications. Right, going back to Jeremiah 51, that gold is that splendor and that riches the nation has, which it uses to exert influence over the other nations. And with that riches, it makes the other nations want to be just like it. Right, and upon the forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Right, exactly, and America was, that mystery, but that mystery has been revealed, to our elders, and so on and so forth. And now we know, man, that elders, and so on and so forth. And now we know, man, that Babylon the Great is America. You know, all these things, right? Like it says in Daniel, the 12th chapter, knowledge shall be increased and man shall run to and fro, man. This is a revelation, man. The seals of the book were open. Y'all should open up them seals. Our business came on the scene. He was teaching, and now we know. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this lesson. Didn't want to get too deep into the article. The article pretty much just talks about the delicate power balance, and we could read the last thing. Regardless, Zelensky needs to listen to the criticism. His public remarks following Tuesday's speech were marked by repeated appreciation. When returning to Ukraine for the NATO summit, he said via Twitter, "I'm grateful to all those who have worked for unity in Vilnius." All right, so that's what's going on. Divisions and stuff like that. And I believe they said that they were going to let him in, but just not now, which that could very well be something that leads up to World War III. But when they eventually do, it could possibly do, but we don't really know. We just know it's going to happen in the Middle East. We don't really know like the exact cause, and we could reason it in the spirit, like something to do with oil resources and stuff like that. But I'm going to say, get up and say, Kawaiimbla. Hello, well, and all you beloved brothers and sisters out there, man. Hopeful like brothers and sisters out there, y'all edify, and that's it. I'm gonna say shalom.